This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Now at 11, murals like this are becoming a common sight in downtown Indianapolis. While this painting is the first piece to be displayed publicly by the artist, he brings decades of wisdom to his work. Good evening to you at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. That artist shared the message behind his mural with WRTV's Cameron Riddle.
In downtown Indianapolis, the wood boards covering the windows of dozens of downtown businesses are here to stay, at least for a while. Terry K. Wilson is among the artists beautifying downtown with hand-painted murals. The artwork created by Wilson is a sign of the times.
It's a sorry thing, actually, but I wanted to pay homage to these young men that have lost their life over little or nothing, as you see.
This work is a milestone worth celebrating for an artist who never had his work displayed in his own hometown. The paintings of Trayvon Martin and George Floyd are actually Wilson's first creations to be commissioned for display in Indianapolis. But the message in the window is nothing to smile about.
No, it's not anything to smile about. Actually, it's a message in each one. I'm sending out a message that just because we're walking down the street doesn't mean we're trying to rob some place or kill anybody. That's the message I'm trying to do, and make it so it's safe for young black men to walk down the street without being in fear of their life.
At 62 years old, this artist is using his talents to amplify the call for change while pointing out that the issues he's seeing at 62 are the same issues he witnessed at 26.
I don't see a big change in that 62 years. I don't see a big change, and I went through plenty of situations that these men have gone through and got out by the skin of my teeth. So I know the experience and I know the fear, so I don't see a change in the near future.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And painting is Wilson's full-time job. His artwork is available for sale online. He says over the next few days, he will be painting more murals throughout the city, including one of Drejon Reed, who was shot and killed by an IMPD officer last month.
Now to the latest on the COVID-19 crisis. According to the State Department of Health, 2,394 people in Indiana have died from the virus. 9 newly reported deaths happened between June 18th and yesterday. More than 444,000 people have been tested in our state, and just under 10% of those have tested positive. Testing is crucial for identifying and treating the people who are infected with COVID-19, but some say the process is more confusing than they expected. Carrie Banfield has asthma, so she decided to get a COVID-19 test at Walmart on US 31. The site canceled her June 1st appointment and rescheduled to June 8th. Carrie says she swabbed her nose, gave them the sample, and expected an email about her results in 3 to 5 days, as the paperwork showed. As the days passed, Carrie did not get an email. As she reached day 11 with no results, Carrie reached out to Call 6 Investigates about the delay.
I don't know, maybe I'm a fluke, maybe it didn't. Maybe mine just got messed up, but I thought somebody needs to check into it because it's not, it's not okay. I know elder people that don't really use the computer, aren't very computer savvy. So if I'm having difficulties, I can imagine what they're going through.
We reached out to the provider, eTrue North, who told us Carrie's specimen was posted to her account on June 9th, the day after her test. She's negative for the virus. eTrue North says you should get an email within 3 to 5 days. If you do not get an email about your results, try logging into the testing site doineedacovid19test.com.
It appears COVID-19 information that Call 6 has been asking for since April will not be made public. The state says it will not release the specific number of deaths or cases at individual nursing homes and will not say which nursing homes have an outbreak of cases. Yesterday, the governor and state health commissioner rejected requests from Senate Democrats to collect and publish nursing home deaths and cases broken down by facility. The state says it is tracking the information, but feels it is adequate to provide the information only to families with loved ones in nursing homes.
1 month after executives with Tyson Foods talked to RTV6 about coronavirus safety measures inside the Logansport plant, an employee is calling on the company to do more.
But we need help from the government and the companies No one should have to get seriously ill or die, not when they can be protected.
Dennis Medborn works at the Logansport plant. He spoke publicly this morning at a news conference with his union, UFCW. He feels safety precautions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the facility were made too late to have an impact. In early May, a different Tyson employee shared his concerns with RTV6 after hundreds of his co-workers tested positive for the virus. A couple of weeks after that, company officials shared this video with us showing some of the extra measures being taken to protect employees, including temperature checks, break room sanitation, and on-site medical screenings. Medborn says more can be done.
It's been a dark few months. I think that is the scariest thing about this virus. It spreads before you even know you have it, and so much is still unknown. There are still people in the plant that are at risk of getting it, which means there are still people coming into work every day in fear.
The Tyson plant in Logansport closed from April 25th to May 10th while the company tested all of its employees and instituted new procedures. Nearly 900 of the facility's 2,200 employees were infected with COVID-19. Tyson released in a lengthy statement saying in part, quote, "Since we worked with health officials to conduct facility-wide testing of our Logansport plant back in April, we've seen significant improvement. We are aware of no positive cases of any team member currently working in our facility. Any team member who has tested positive will remain on sick leave until they've satisfied official health requirements for return to work, and we currently have very few cases." You can read the full statement on our website, theindychannel.com.
Many people are struggling in different ways because of the pandemic, and support will be available tomorrow at a drive-through resource fair in Indianapolis. Tables and booths will be set up in the parking lot at Martin University from 2 to 5. You can get free face coverings, school supplies, health screenings, food counseling, information, and more. Organizers want people to know city and community services are still available.
Our community has been in their homes for several months now. COVID, everything's reopening. So we're trying to get all our community members information and just giving them the resources and showing them that we care as organizations here in the community for their life.
The fair is free and open to all. No registration is required. Again, it is tomorrow in the Martin University parking lot from 2 to 5.
With concert halls closed and symphony seasons canceled because of the pandemic, this is one way musicians are still sharing their love for music. But behind the music, members of the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra are struggling. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker explains why some ICO musicians are questioning the organization's decisions as they wait to get back to entertaining the community.
I would much rather talk about all of this.
In a perfect world, this is the only thing Roger Rowe would be talking about. As an Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra member since 1995, the oboist and English horn player knows how important the orchestra is to the community.
We love the orchestra, we love the city, we love our neighbors. Being a musician means you can make art for everyone in the city. So as the city comes back to life, we can be here for it.
But now things are up in the air.
We didn't come to the public until now because, I mean, at least me personally, I kept thinking maybe they'll change their minds.
Rose says ISO's management has not only furloughed them, but also got rid of their health insurance.
And to know that we're the only orchestra in the country doing this, it makes me especially sad. It makes all of us especially sad.
This decision has upset many people in the community, and they're letting the ISO know about it, commenting their dissatisfaction with this decision. Going over the symphony's most recent financial records show, in 2019, their foundation had more than $97 million, with $21 million allocated for general purposes. Symphony musicians thought they had found a solution.
From day one in March, we asked, what about the endowment? Surely you can use some of the endowment, but the answer was no, and we're cutting off your health care on June the 7th.
So now, the musicians, who don't have many more options, are looking toward the 2020-21 season.
All we want to do is to be able to have talks with the management about how the orchestra comes back safely and in September, and That's all we're after. There's no ulterior motive. We make music. We want to make music.
I reached out to Heidi Kelly, the symphony's marketing and communications person, about the situation on Tuesday. She said she was going to get back to me and give me a statement. It's now Thursday. I reached out again to ask about the situation and whether or not they could use some of that endowment money to give the musicians their health insurance, and I've not heard back from her. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
When or if symphony representatives release a statement to us, we will let you know what they say.
1 year after a local veteran reached out to WRTV for help, a home makeover beyond his wildest dreams has become a reality.
And I appreciate you looking for a group to help me.
We first met Kevin Grieve last June after doctors diagnosed him with congestive heart failure. He struggled to take care of his home. At one point, the health department had to get involved. We searched for veteran outreach groups on Grieve's behalf and connected him to Helping Heroes of America. The organization specializes in yard work and home repairs for vets. In this case, the group went above and beyond the call of duty, renovating and remodeling Grieve's entire home.
We took it all the way down to the studs. We replaced everything from the floors to the walls to the counters to the windows. It's a completely new house. It's so different in there and it's so beautiful that I know he's just going to be like, oh my gosh. And it's like a fresh start for him.
You know, they come together to help me and I appreciate that. That's a good thing about Hoosiers is we help each other out.
Once a year, Helping Heroes of America takes on a big project for one veteran. Grieve's home was that project. Kevin.
Changes arrive just as the weekend arrives. We'll talk about our thunderstorm timing and the humidity. All of that next.
With tens of millions of Americans still unemployed, Congress is considering steps to entice companies operating overseas to return to the U.S. What that could mean for jobs.
And Metro Police are asking for your help after two drivers hit and killed a woman. You're watching WRTV News at 11.
Days. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. This is RTV6 News at 11. Working for you.
Police are asking for information after two vehicles struck a woman walking on the northeast side of Indianapolis and kept going. Investigators say the first car hit 58-year-old Linda Kimbrough just after 11:30 last night on 30th Street near Sherman. As she tried to get out of the road, a Jeep Grand Cherokee hit her. Kimbrough died at the scene. The first car is believed to be a blue Ford Taurus or Mercury Sable between model years 2000 and 2007. It has damage to the passenger side, including a missing mirror, according to police. Now, they describe the Jeep as dark-colored, model years between 2008 and 2010. If you know anything, you're asked to call IMPD's Hit and Run office at 317-327-6549.
The latest numbers released today show nearly 20 million people are still unemployed across the country. Lawmakers are considering offering new incentives to encourage companies to return operations to the U.S. Scripps reporter Alicia Nieves explains why that would not necessarily create new jobs.
Since the start of his presidency, President Trump has talked about getting manufacturing companies to come back to the U.S. or reshoring. And now, with unemployment at a historic high, another 1.5 million people filing jobless claims last week, and still 19.5 million continued claims or people unemployed, the idea of reshoring is being revisited by Congress, with some on the Hill proposing reshoring incentives for companies in the next stimulus package.
There are a lot of potential ways that the administration and Congress could come up with tax subsidies, with tax breaks for companies that produce here.
Ed Yardeni is an economist and the president of Yardeni Research. While he believes there could be some jobs created by companies reshoring in the U.S., it's hard to say just how many.
Clearly, bringing back jobs would be great, but I don't think we're going back to the 70s and 80s where manufacturing had a lot more people employed.
That's partly because many companies that would consider reshoring would also consider using artificial intelligence in their production plants.
I would think that if you're reshoring and bring production back to the U.S., you're going to use state-of-the-art technology to do that. So I'm not sure that it's going to be a huge win-win in terms of jobs.
Experts believe companies that would most likely consider reshoring would be those in the pharmaceutical and technology sectors. Their reasons for making the move is less likely for job creation and more because of national security concerns.
There's just some things that are kind of inevitable. I think inevitably we are going to be producing more drugs here, and we're going to be much more circumspect about sharing technological innovations that we've come up with.
Either way, experts say to get more jobs out of reshoring, we may have to go a step beyond just incentivizing companies to come here.
Maybe what we need is to combine reshoring with really focusing on re-educating a lot of the labor force so that they can go one notch. They can manage the robots, they can build the robots, they can program the robots, as opposed to doing the jobs that the robots are doing.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
A fresh food market with a convenient location for Indigo riders is set to reopen on Wednesday. You can find the food and transit stand at the Julia M. Carson Transit Center in downtown Indianapolis. It will be open every Wednesday afternoon from 2 to 5 through October. The stand first opened in 2018 as a way to get fresh local vegetables to people who may not have access. Cash, SNAP, EBT credit, and debit are all accepted forms of payment. Kevin.
Well, when the alarm goes off in the morning, might be a bit easier to get up and at 'em. It's Friday. Our temperatures will be the story. Tomorrow will be the warmest day of the next week, and the third time we've hit 90 degrees or above. I think western Indiana should be in the low 90s. Temperatures go along with the humidity also climbing. We'll keep our rain chances low at least through Friday. There's your morning temperature, and we make our move in the afternoon up to 90 degrees. As I mentioned, that'll happen fairly quickly. If you look at the time period 3 through 7, that's the time period where it will be most uncomfortable. Heat index values in the low to possibly mid-90s in the western portion of the state. That humidity with the warm front moving through in the morning may spark a shower or thunderstorm. 7 a.m. we're dry. Watch from the west, though. You begin to see just a few spots there, 9 o'clock, and by 11 a couple more. That's as the warm air is brought into central Indiana. Still hit and miss in the afternoon. Not good coverage, and a few more at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And by that point, the warm air will be everywhere thanks to this. A southwest wind that brings in the warmer temperatures raises the humidity level. Humidity is going nowhere once it arrives tomorrow afternoon until probably mid to late next week. Warmest temperatures will be along the Wabash River, western Indiana, 92s for Terre Haute and Lafayette. Temperatures will be impacted in the isolated areas of showers and thunderstorms. As far as the weekend forecast, we back off on the heat a little bit because we'll have more cloud cover and more numerous thunderstorms, the most likely time in the afternoon and evening hours. Well, you've heard about the dust that started off the west coast of Africa last weekend, arriving along the Gulf Coast states today. The impact looks to stay south of the Ohio River. At most, it would make our sky a little bit hazy over the weekend, but the bigger impact will be Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Temperatures, they're in the mid-80s on Saturday. Our thunderstorm chances increasing through the afternoon into the evening hours. There are your afternoon thunderstorms. With the humidity as high as it is, whenever it rains, it will pour as a result of those thunderstorms. As we get to Saturday night, thunderstorms ongoing. We'll take a little break. They kind of fizzle a bit during the overnight and then come back during the day on Sunday. Sunday's high 84. Then look, temperatures stay in the middle to upper 80s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And these overnight temperatures will hover right around 70 degrees as well. So if you've wanted rain at some point, you'll get a downpour here over the next several days.
Thank you, Kevin. The past week has been a great time to get out of the house and enjoy the weather, but with COVID-19 still a concern, should parents be worried about letting kids play outside? Our parents at Newsy are getting answers.
When it comes to getting sick with COVID-19, you might be thinking about this, and we have too. We got an email asking, what's the risk of letting my kids play outside? We asked the experts. Their take, contracting COVID-19 from playing outside is low risk.
Kids playing outside, especially if they're playing with themselves, their siblings, people who live in that nuclear family, the risk is really low. It's no different than being at home. As we're starting to open up, We are seeing that, limited smaller groups are acceptable there. So if we have a family friend or, a neighbor's kid, and in those small group settings, to be able to mingle probably is also okay at that point there. If we are going to a larger public area or you're coming across strangers, then probably the mask in those situations would be more important.
If your children, so kids living within your household, are playing themselves and not coming within 6 feet of people from other households, so for example, they're in your own backyard, they don't need to wear a mask outside. If they're in a park, or especially if they're on a play structure or something like that, where they're likely to come within 6 feet of children from other households, a mask will provide a better protection in that situation.
It depends on where you're going to go. If you're going to go to a playground, you want to make sure that, after they leave that playground, they're washing their hands. And if they are at a playground not real close to other people that you don't know where they've been or if they're well, but certainly I wouldn't discourage kids from going outside right now and playing.
If you have a question about your risk, email us a video question to what'stherisk@newsy.com.
Premium. Click or call today.
Many summer activities that would normally be an option now, like concerts and sporting events, are still on pause as the pandemic continues. So you might be thinking about trying different hobbies or forms of entertainment. Our Brad Brown takes us to a local shop that helps customers light a creative fire.
Right now, we could all use a moment of serenity. At Penn and Beach, you can find a little bit of your own comfort, one wick at a time.
It's memory and making your space comfortable, ambient lighting. It's warm, it's cozy.
Brianna Doles opened her shop near the corner of College Avenue and Mass Ave a couple years ago. It all started as a hobby, making candles at home.
Some of my friends were even coming down in the basement and customizing their own scented candles. And we started out with 10 oils. Now we're up to, 100, 120.
Penn and Beach features a pour-your-own candle experience. Each guest gets to customize their fragrance, choosing from more than 100 scents.
Scent is a lot of memory. So they'll be like, I want to make mom's favorite perfume, or I was at this hotel in Chicago and I want to make it smell just like that. That's their favorite part.
A variety of shapes and sizes of candles are available. A fresh pour of soy-based wax sets up in a couple of hours. Penn and Beach also offers more than 100 pre-made options. The shops were closed for about 8 weeks this spring, but Brianna says customer demand remains strong.
The community support was amazing. We were having about 20 to 30 orders a day. So we were in the shop fulfilling 2, 3, 4 days a week. That kept us afloat.
And each flicker of the flame can bring a little peace during challenging times.
We had a lot of custom notes on our online orders saying, this is getting me through quarantine. I've learned that when I sit down at the office, I need to create a new space. So they'll light up a candle and it takes them out of their home into a new environment.
Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Call 1-800-CALL-KEN.
Here we go, headed to 90 tomorrow to feel like the lower 90s with isolated thunderstorms. Thunderstorms more widespread Saturday and Sunday with temperatures in the middle to upper 80s. Lots of humidity. Mark?
Lots of humidity out there. Do what you can to stay cool. That's going to do it for us here on RTV6 News at 11. Thanks for being here with us. GMI heads your way at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Have a good night.